It is a ghost in the forest. For more than 100 years, people believed it had completely disappeared from Europe. But now, on snow more than 1 meter deep, it has suddenly appeared again. It is returning from the dead, and its arrival immediately disrupts the entire order of thousands of other creatures. There seems to be an impossible secret pact between it and the fierce wolf packs. A male lynx weighing 25 kilograms is patrolling his territory. More than 100 years ago, his ancestors no longer existed here because of the expansion of human habitat. In the 1970s and 1980s, a small number were released back into the wild. From those few original individuals, they quietly multiplied and restored their range. Data from modern GPS collars reveals an astonishing truth: the territory of an adult male lynx can cover up to 400 square kilometers. They must constantly move, sometimes walking more than 20 kilometers each night just to check their boundaries. On the frozen snow, every sound is amplified. One wrong step is enough to alert prey dozens of meters away. But the lynx's body structure is a perfect solution to this problem. Its feet are unusually large compared with its body size, covered in thick fur, and function exactly like snowshoes. They spread its weight evenly across the ice, allowing the lynx to move in absolute silence without sinking deeply. Its ears, with distinctive black tufts at the tips, are not just decoration. They act like directional sound antennas, capable of catching the rustle of a mouse beneath thick snow from a distance of 50 meters. A small pine marten is leaping across thin branches above. The 25-kilogram predator sees the target, but ignores it. Climbing a large tree trunk is not a problem, but chasing an ultralight target across tiny branches is a useless waste of energy. Its real target is much larger, and the way it controls that giant prey will show why it is the ruler. But hold on to that curiosity, because in this very forest, the lynx is not the only one finding its own way back. While lynx were actively brought back by humans, wolf packs found their own way home. Since the 1980s, wolves began appearing sporadically along the forest edges. By 2017, a historic milestone was recorded when the first wolf pack gave birth to pups on the German side of the territory. The parallel presence of wolves and lynx in the same area creates a major question: how can these two top predators coexist without competing for survival to the point of eliminating each other? The answer lies in extremely intelligent boundary division and hunting strategy. Wolves are highly social animals. They move and hunt in packs, relying on endurance to chase prey to exhaustion across open or sparse landscapes. By contrast, the lynx is a solitary hunter. It is not built for long chases. Its skill is blending into complex terrain, stalking, and using short, decisive leaps. Lynx take advantage of rocky ground and fallen trees, places where wolves are disadvantaged when moving in formation. Thanks to this hidden division of territory, both species coexist, regulate herbivore populations, and keep the ecosystem from collapsing under an explosion of deer and roe deer. But if you think wolves and lynx are the only creatures reshaping this forest, the truth is that a much smaller creature is doing work that is just as complex, creating something the lynx must rely on to survive. When the ice melts in May, a giant network of rivers and streams in the Bohemian forest comes back to life. Standing out at Grosser Arbor are the underwater architectural works of beavers. Hundreds of years ago, beavers were hunted fiercely. Their fur contains up to 23,000 hairs per square centimeter, denser than almost any other land animal, allowing them to stay completely dry when diving deep. The hunger for this fur once caused 500,000 beaver pelts to be traded in London alone each year during the 19th century. As a result, beavers disappeared, but now they have returned, bringing with them the skills of master hydraulic engineers. Beavers are herbivores. They use their sharp, continuously growing teeth to cut down trees, build dams that block the flow, and create still water areas and swampy ponds. The entrance to their lodge is always underwater to stop predators. However, their dam building does not serve only themselves. Rising water creates new wetlands. Trees die from flooding and turn into rotting wood, opening space for sunlight to reach the humus layer. From there, young shoots and new vegetation explode. And who loves eating young shoots the most? Roe deer and red deer. The return of beavers directly increases the number of deer and roe deer. And roe deer are the essential food source of the lynx. The entire forest is a tightly connected biological chain. At the same time, on land, herds of wild boar are acting like natural plows. They dig up the ground to search for young roots and chestnuts. This digging accidentally turns over the soil, helping seeds from forest trees germinate more successfully. Sows give birth together in spring. The striped piglets often play fight to train for the future. Although they look very visible in open ground, among dense vegetation, these stripes provide perfect camouflage. Wild boars have a thick layer of fat and coarse hair, making them prone to overheating in summer. Wallowing in mud holes is not only for cooling down, but also a powerful biological treatment. When the mud dries and flakes off, it carries away many parasites attached to the skin. The forest has provided the food base and ideal environment. However, for a pregnant female lynx, the real survival challenge is only just beginning. The truth about raising young among lynx is far harsher than its peaceful appearance suggests. The female lynx is preparing to give birth to her next litter. She moves away from last year's young and searches for a hidden rocky den. Giving birth is the stage that places the female in the highest state of risk. She is completely alone. The male lynx never takes part in raising the young. 2 lynx kittens are born. They cannot see or hear during the first weeks, and can only sense warmth from each other and from their mother's scent. Biological statistics show that raising more than 3 kittens is an extreme limit for a mother lynx. To ensure enough milk, every 2 to 3 days, the mother must complete a successful hunt. If she fails repeatedly, the entire family will stand on the edge of exhaustion. When analyzing ecological data, the natural mortality rate of lynx kittens is very high. Compared with big cats on other continents, wild lynx kittens have only about a 25 to 30% chance of surviving their first year. That means out of every 4 kittens born, as many as 3 may never see the next spring. They can die from lack of food, disease, or attacks by other predators. That is why every action of the mother lynx must reach optimal biological precision. When the kittens are still small, the mother lynx does not dare to stay away for too long. Sometimes, food scarcity forces her to use alternative sources of nutrition. Although her main prey is roe deer, when necessary, she can target small rodents, or consume alternative protein sources, such as forest ants, instead of wasting energy confronting a badger, an animal with a very strong territorial defense instinct. When the lynx kittens reach 5 weeks old, they step out of the den for the first time. Everything is strange. Their survival instinct activates immediately when they see any unfamiliar movement. The kittens have a habit of rolling onto their backs and remaining completely motionless. This is a self-protection mechanism that helps reduce the risk of attack. They also begin sharpening their claws on rough tree trunks. A sharp set of retractable claws is the only key that will later allow them to control targets larger than their own bodies. But while the lynx focuses on large prey, a world of miniature hunters is quietly operating right beneath its feet, following survival rules that are completely opposite, and these tiny hunters are facing a strange truth and a far more serious challenge. The Bohemian forest provides safe shelter not only for large carnivores, but also for their miniature version, the European wildcat. The survival of the wildcat is a delicate balancing act. It must hunt 10 to 15 mice every day to take in enough energy. Unlike the lynx, which usually hunts at dusk or at night, the wildcat makes a bold decision. It hunts in sparse meadows during the day. Appearing under sunlight seems risky, but in reality, it is a smart strategy to avoid the night rulers, such as wolves and lynx. But the greatest danger to this wildcat does not come from other predators. A process of genetic decline is taking place due to mating with stray domestic cats. In Scotland, the pure wildcat genetic line has almost been erased by this phenomenon. This is a major challenge in biological conservation, the loss of pure genetic traits. The Bohemian forest, thanks to its isolation and harsh conditions, is proud to be one of the last areas on Earth that still preserves this original genetic line. This separation by time also appears among birds. The northern owl nests inside hollow tree trunks left behind by woodpeckers. During the first months, the father owl takes responsibility for bringing food back, while the mother stays in the nest to care for the young. The number of eggs the mother lays depends directly on how abundant mice are that year. And if a predator wanders too close, the young birds that cannot yet fly use an unbelievable ability. They are excellent climbers. By using their beaks and claws to grip the rough tree bark, they quickly move up to higher branches, leaving ground predators helpless below. However, this ecological picture did not become perfect by chance. The reason the Bohemian forest has maintained such diverse wilderness contains a historical truth few people think about. The natural ecosystem here has been well preserved largely because of history. During the Cold War, the Iron Curtain ran directly through this region. The creation of an uninhabited buffer zone unintentionally gave plants and animals several decades of peace to develop. But today, as the human world expands, habitat fragmentation is one of the greatest threats to animals that need large territories, such as the lynx. By 2026, conservation efforts had developed into an integrated ecological corridor project. To solve the problem of inbreeding, wildlife bridges are being built based on genetic analysis models to connect lynx populations from the Alps to the Carpathian Mountains. This rewilding process is a large-scale effort to repair the geographical separation caused by human infrastructure. Autumn has painted the forest gold. Rainfall sends the streams rushing towards spectacular waterfalls. The young lynx are now 6 months old. They begin practicing low stalking movements and short bursts of speed. The mother lynx can now leave her young alone for a little longer to find space for herself. The previous litter has fully separated from the mother, entering an independent growth cycle and dispersing in all directions to establish new boundaries. The return of the lynx is proof of the ecosystem's ability to recover when negative pressures are removed. Where beavers build dams, wild boars disturb the soil layer, wildcats control rodents, and lynx maintain the balance of herbivore populations, all of them together create a biological system that operates in stable equilibrium. In the modern era, the story of the lynx teaches us about adaptation and balance. We do not need to try to replace nature's functions with expensive artificial measures. In reality, ecosystems already possess extremely refined self-regulating mechanisms. When humans reduce direct impacts and provide the necessary space, nature will restore its original biological functions on its own without needing complex technical support. The existence of the lynx is a symbol of hope for a world where biodiversity is respected and protected. The silent feet of the lynx will continue leaving marks on the deep snow, reminding us that evolution and life will always move according to the most enduring laws. Thank you for watching this ecological research journey. If you are interested in conservation and rewilding solutions, leave your thoughts and suggestions. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel for the next scientific stories. See you again.